They need me, they need you, they need us. They need more support for independent artists, people who still grind the hardest. A hip-hop army, take it back to where it started.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the S.H.I.E.L.D Showcase. And today we have a longtime Windsor veteran on the microphone, in the studio, on the stage, behind the camera, my man, Jay Reno. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's going on, brother? It's good to see you. Good to see you.
It's good to see you, man. Thanks for getting back to me because, you know, you were one of the first people I reached out to when this all started.
Yeah.
And due to scheduling and technical difficulties, it took us a while, but I think we're both in a better situation now.
Yeah, I'm good to go, man. Everything is, all the wheels are in motion, so I ain't got to do the actual physical work anymore. So
There you
we're good
go.
to go. Yeah.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of things to talk about, man. So we got to go through the obligatory shit just to get people up to speed, you know, because you and I, we worked together a few times. But all right, now when I first came back to Windsor in 2000, in the early 2001, I started hearing about Academy a few years later. I don't know how active you guys were in those early years, but I started hearing about you guys and I started hearing about you in Academy. Now, did you have a career before Academy or was that the start of your hip hop career?
Long before Academy, brother.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I started like 1999. I don't know, maybe 2004 or 5 I hooked up with Academy. You know, I could be wrong. It's been a lot of years, right? So,
yeah.
But no, I released, I want to say 4 or 5 records and had and lost a record deal before even joining with Academy. So.
Oh, okay then. All right. Well, tell us about that. How did you get started then? Tell us about that.
I a boom box in the backyard, brother. You know how it is. I know we're dating myself here, but you know, we were rapping into a microphone that was plugged into the headphone jack of a boom box with another boom box behind us that was playing the beat. And that was a recording studio, bro. And we were doing that in like 99.
Right.
And I was just rapping with some homeboys, like it was fun, something to do. And really took to it where everybody else kind of didn't. And then it just took off from there. Found some studios, found some like-minded people, and just got to work, man.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't so much the people you grew up with or a bigger brother or anything like that. Was it your bigger brother or something? Like, don't you have an older brother?
No. I got a younger brother. I was introduced to the music probably my older cousins.
Right.
Stumbling across their CD selection, you know, seeing what they got and, you know, hearing Tupac and Outkast and things like that, like really early on.
Right.
Yeah, I just absolutely loved it, man. And then I just kind of consumed my life, I guess you would say.
Well, I would say because, you know, given your start in the late 90s, early 2000s, you've come a long way, man, and you've stayed in it and you've stayed relevant for a long time. Now, what was it like transitioning from just your backyard and messing around to getting on stage? Was that a interesting process?
It was different, man. You know, it's one thing to be rapping with your friends in the backyard, just shooting the shit and whatnot, but like when you're on a stage and you got people in front of you that paid actual dollars to get into the place to see you rap, you know, it becomes a whole new level of taking it serious, right?
Right.
And I'm glad the footage don't even exist. I don't even want to know, but I know them first couple of shows were rough around the edges, to say the least. But it all led to where I went and where I am. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for it. But yeah, the transition from being like, I guess I'm rapping in backyards and shit at parties and stuff like that to actually charging people to see you do it. The craziest thing about it was that I actually could do it, that people would pay to see it, would pay to hear it. And that changed everything. You know what I mean?
Well, shit. I believe it, man. So now I've known you as a juggalo, right? You've been into that horrorcore. Have you always been into the horrorcore? Was that what you started off doing?
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess you could say so. I grew up on all that shit, right? And I gravitated to that style of music because I was always a little different than everybody else. I didn't like the follow the crowd type of people. That wasn't me. And this shit was different, but it was still in the vein of hip hop, of what I love to listen to. And I like the idea, right? You know, you got the difference between uh, hip hop portraying reality, and then you have using music as an escape from reality. That's
Okay.
where horrorcore comes in. You don't escape reality listening to records that are coming from the streets. You can't escape reality doing that, because that is reality for most people involved in the culture, right?
Right.
Horrorcore, you were able to escape reality, get out of the everyday same old same, and just do something completely different, rap about something completely different. Um, so for me, it was just the entertainment value was greater, and I had a little more fun too, right? I'm not a gangster, I'm not that guy. So
Right.
I wasn't about to just start rapping that kind of rap, right? But I love rapping, and I've always been a horror junkie for movies, music, and everything else. So
Right.
seemed to be fitting.
Yeah.
The other thing is mixing it up with the Juggalos, and Juggalos are just fans of horror rap, but they're also fans of so many other different things. So that's kind of it's almost like a totally separate entity.
All right. Well, I'm glad you started talking a little bit more into that, because hip hop is so many different subcultures, if you want to call it, or subgenres of hip hop. Not a lot of people understand or know, or even have seen or heard of what juggalos are. Can you give a description of what a juggalo is, or is there a description of a juggalo technically?
There is a description of an easy description of a juggalo for people who are outside of that whole world, or who were never involved in it or whatever. These are the most dedicated music fans on planet Earth. Plain and simple. I mean, a lot of bands and rappers and everything could draw big crowds like that, but this was like cult like,
Right.
and it became family to them, the way that they see it, right? So I guess, like, to be a juggalo is just to really live through the music that you listen to, and live through the people that you associate with in the juggalo community. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
But listen, man, I've performed in front of every kind of rap fan there is. I've performed in the hood, I've performed in the suburbs, I've performed for the juggalos. Nothing comes remotely close to the experience of performing for the juggalos in any capacity. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Now, given the look of a juggalo, do you think that people have anything to concern themselves with if ever going to a juggalo show? Like, if I went
No,
to a juggalo show, do you think I'd have to keep my back?
absolutely not. No, no. I went to juggalo shows as a juggalo, dressed like this. I didn't paint my face. I didn't do the whole clown routine. You don't have to do all that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Uh, they respect you as a human being first and foremost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like our country and immigration, bro. Like they welcome everyone from everywhere. Any kind of human being can be a part of that and
Right.
go and enjoy it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. And matter of fact, it seems to be like a microcosm of what hip hop really is. It's just being separate from society, but a culture in and of itself.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I think the Juggalos did that all on their own too. That's the beautiful thing about it. a lot of people that do know what juggalos are, but don't know much about them, don't realize that it isn't just fans of the Insane Clown Posse and they do what the Insane Clown Posse says to do, or they only follow what they say. Like these people have created this whole world on their own, and it got so big and so much to the point that all the artists are just members of the community. You know what I mean? Nobody runs nothing. Nobody, everybody just goes and does their own thing. And that's what makes it such a beautiful thing, to be honest with you.
All right, cool. Now, isn't there a gathering of the Juggalos? Is that what they called it? Is there still something like that happens? Have you ever been to something like that?
I performed 3 gathering of the Juggalo events, 2008, 9, and 10. And it was, I want to say, the craziest fucking thing I've ever been a part of in my life.
So is that like a Juggalo Woodstock? Is that like
absolutely what it is?
Okay.
It's a Juggalo themed music festival with artists Juggalos would like, activities Juggalos would like, professional wrestling is there, all the carnival games, the carny food, the rides, 3 to 4 different stages of concerts from different levels of music up to like, the main stage and whatnot, and just everything, bro, anything you can think of. And then if you did think of it and it isn't a part of it, one of the Juggalos there will make it something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you end up with foam parties, you end up with all type of after parties. But it's the craziest thing I've ever experienced.
All right, then.
Absolutely.
And where are those Canadian things, or are they in the States? Have they been both?
All 3 that I performed was in Cave and Rock, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
And that's like a big private landmass. They hold a gathering of the Juggalos there. They have biker rallies there. Essentially just a huge plot of private land.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know how private property really works in America.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the only thing not private about it is the airspace. And they had helicopter rides as a part of the event, so even the airspace was private. So it's legit through and through, and they still do it till now. I don't even know what year they're on here. I think they've done close to they're pushing up on 30 of these things if they haven't already done 30.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Because when I first heard of Juggalos, it was back in the mid '90s. I just got out of college, and it was ICP and Esham. I don't know if Esham was considered a Juggalo, but he was definitely that acid, that horrorcore rap.
He's the pioneer of where it came from.
Esham?
Absolutely.
So absolutely. Because I think it was called Dead Roses or Dead Flowers. Was one
Dead Flowers.
Yeah, one of his early albums. And I really enjoyed that, man. Yeah. And it kind of made me uncomfortable how much I enjoyed it. But then later on in life, I started listening to some of your music. I heard some of your music and things like that. And it's like, all right, man, because I got to know you and you're a solid guy. So it got to show me that, okay, Juggalos or people that do that kind of music are nothing to fear. You know what I mean?
No, nah, bro, nah. I mean, just like every group of people in the world, there's going to be some people that you probably should fear, probably should stay away from.
Oh yeah, in every group, yeah.
In every group of people, in every, every ethnicity, every race, every genre, every fandom of every band, there's always going to be some bad apples. But, in reality, man, to me, like, I'm an MC, I'm an artist, and I'm an entertainer. And I'm not going to entertain you sitting up here talking about some real life shit that you and I both know is not my life. It's not what I do.
Right.
I'm not about portraying that stuff or being that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I'm it's not gonna be real life hardships like that. It's gonna be out there. You know what I mean? It's gonna be entertainment. It's gonna be a horror movie on a boom bap beat.
Right. And there's a difference between escaping from reality and faking the funk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't fuck with faking the funk, bro.
No, I understand that.
Because that to me, that style of music, gangster rap, hardcore rap, two totally different things. But like gangster rap, if you're gonna rap like a gangster and not be a gangster, I just don't think there's anything cornier in the entire culture than that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's a shame that so much of it gets promoted and pushed on the radio in that, whereas horrorcore, as graphic as the lyrics are not as damaging to a person's psyche.
No, because in reality, you know, I would say like 99.5% of the people listening to horrorcore know that this shit is entertainment. It's all in fun. It's just, we're just having fun. It's not, you know what I mean? Whereas gangster rap, you don't know. You know what I mean? Or you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like my mom used to love Stephen King and V.C. Andrews, but it didn't make her any less of a mild-mannered woman.
Absolutely.
A gentle soul, right? You can have that escape without it becoming your reality. Whereas a lot of people try to escape by faking the funk, and it inevitably becomes a reality, and they don't know how to deal with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, bro. Look, I'll put it to you like this. If you're out being a gangster rapper, rapping gangster shit, there's a high probability somebody's going to check you on that.
Right.
Somebody's going to test your gangster. Somebody's going to test it, see if you're really about what you're saying.
Right.
Nobody is going up to a horrorcore artist and going, yo, are you actually a serial killer? Show me, kill me. Or, you know, like stupid shit like that. It doesn't happen, right? Because you can tell, you know the difference between reality and entertainment. You can't tell the difference in gangster rap because one guy spitting some gangster rap is faking the funk, and the guy coming up after him is spitting the same gangster rap, but he literally, you know, did that, lived it every day. So,
and don't clown around and get in a battle rap with somebody or get in a battle with somebody and fuck up. You know what I mean? But anyways, moving on, but staying with the Juggalo theme. Now, you had a major tour that you went on. You managed to get on tour with ICP and a few others. What was that about? How'd that go?
All right, so 2008, I want to say, Psychopathic Records put out Tunnel Runners, which is an underground compilation. 13 artists, I think, made it on the cut. I was one of them. And then they did 2 artists from the record to go on tour to promote the record. And it ended up being me and a rapper named Mars from California.
Okay, isn't he on he's with Strange Music now?
He didn't. No, Mars, that's Murs. You're talking about Murs.
Oh, Murs. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Mars is, I'm not sure exactly where. I think like Pittsburgh, California or something like that. Mars is actually one of the biggest names to ever do horror rap.
Oh.
And he mixed it with the gangster shit. Being from the West Coast, a wild, wild blend of music. No, but we got to go on tour. It was Psychopathic's like secondary roster. And then at the end of the tour, we get to meet up with ICP and play the Hollow Wicked tour.
Right.
So we did 3 or 4 shows with ICP, and then you know, like another 15 or 16 shows with the rest of the acts.
Okay. And how long did that tour take?
We were on the road 32 days, 20 shows in 30 days or something like that.
Oh, shit.
Across the whole United States. So
now, personally, I know how it ended, but I want you to tell the story of the final show in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, geez. That still to this day was the biggest show of my life, right? If you understand how big the Insane Clown Posse actually was, you know what I mean? It's like wrestling is synonymous with WrestleMania, right?
Right.
Well, Hollow Wicked is like the crown jewel of fucking Juggalo music in the Insane Clown Posse.
All right.
And Detroit is the home of it. It's where the whole genre and subgenre of horrorcore and wicked shit rap was born. So I remember walking in there to go up to the stage, and they told me, oh, it's sold out, it's sold out. I never really looked at how big the Fillmore was in Detroit. So they hand me the microphone. You know, he said, yo, it's a live mic. And I'm kind of nerved, right? Because it's loud, like the crowd is loud. So I'm like, damn, like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And then I said something, I don't even remember what I said, but I said something into the microphone and I got the pop from the audience. And I don't know, bro, it was like more adrenaline than actual drugs can give you, hit my body, bro. And I flew out onto the stage, was me and Trilla. Flew out onto the stage and just saw 4,000 fucking people going crazy, bro.
Really?
I had a mosh pit going. 2 songs in, we had a mosh pit going bigger than the biggest show Windsor's ever thrown for hip hop. Period.
Right.
Just the mosh pit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Craziest night of my life, bro. I've never performed in front of a crowd like that before. Haven't performed in front of a crowd like that since. And you know, to get the reaction that we got that night, I knew, you know, I knew what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, because this is where it's at, you know?
Right. And this was what year? This is what, 2008?
2008, yeah.
Wow, man. And see, that was 15 years ago, you know, and with that being said, and you've done so much since, but I believe at that point, you said that was like the biggest you've done at that point, and you've never done anything.
That was the biggest concert I've ever performed at. Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you could go back to any point in your career, it would probably be on that tour then, huh?
That whole tour, absolutely. Not just because it was the biggest shit I ever accomplished, but it was one of the funnest times of my life. It was it was the epitome of what I worked so hard for.
Right.
What I wanted out of it. You know what I mean? And I got to experience it full throttle. You know what I'm saying? And it was absolute insanity, from the first show in Cleveland all the way across the country and back up to Detroit. It was one long ass memory, one thing that I'll never ever forget doing. Absolutely.
I can only imagine well, social media was around back then, but not to the extent it is now.
No.
Not even close. Not even close. But yeah. But that's something, I'm sure you wish you could have video footage of from all angles, right? So
no, I know, right? Because kids nowadays will brag on their streams and shit, right? And none of that shit even existed. That Tunnel Runners album hit Billboard top 25 rap albums on his first week.
So Windsor got an. See, I knew this, but I'm telling the world this now. That Windsor has an MC that's been on Billboard's
MC and producer, because I produced that motherfucker too.
Yeah, see, and that's the next part of the conversation I wanted to get into, is the producing part. Now, when did you come in doing both? Or obviously you were writing and then reciting with your stereo. If you were doing both, you wouldn't have the little ghetto boxes back to back.
Yeah,
when did you get into producing?
Probably like 2 or 3 years in.
Right.
I was introduced to a local artist that went by the name of Cannibalistic. It was the first local artist I ever linked up with, and it was crazy that he was doing dark horror theme type shit. And I remember going to his spot one time, and he pulled up the FL Studio, which back then it was Fruity Loops 2.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah. I'm dating myself again here. Fruity Loops 2, and I saw he made the beats to his own stuff, and I was looking at it, and it was like fascinating to me. I was like, damn, like, so you're making the music and then you're adding to it to create it to make it a full song, and you're doing it all right here. Very interesting, man. So the first thing I did, I can't lie, first thing I did, bootlegged me a copy of that old dusty ass program, and just started teaching myself how to use it, you know.
Right.
would go on to buy many copies of it, and I've mastered it pretty good at this point. But early on at the beginning, man, them beats sucked. I can't even fucking lie to you, bro. Like I still didn't understand mixing. I didn't understand sound dynamics.
Right.
I just knew I needed a kick and a fucking snare and a hi-hat and some pianos and maybe a string, and then I'm gonna rap on. And that's pretty much all I had going. But for the majority of my releases in my early career, I didn't produce any of it.
Right.
I still sought out better, more experienced producers.
Now, coming up in high school or whatever, did you ever have any musical training? Did you take band in school? Did you know how to read notes? So
Nope.
none of that. So
Nothing.
basically, you just coming out the dome with it.
Learned it all from doing it.
Right.
And that's a trait of mine as a human being, bros. I'm a hands-on learner. I can't listen and learn. I have to do and learn.
Right.
And like I said, bro, this is 22, 23 years of producing music alongside making it. And I'm still learning shit.
Right.
Even today, I learn something new, right? So it's a never-ending thing, essentially.
Well, and that's good that you have the mentality and already know that it's never ending, because once you think you got it all, then obviously you grow stagnant and stale, and you can't improve. You know, you always got to be wanting to improve. Now, I've been in the studio with you, obviously, and recorded there and watched you work, and it's like, okay, I don't know what the hell you're doing. It looked like you're reading the Matrix, and you're just kind of twisting things and turning. You know, you got the stacks over here and what have you, and I'm like, all right, by the time he's done, it's going to be right. You know what I mean? So obviously that comes with years and years of experience. So, but it wasn't necessarily, was it necessity to push you to producing, or it was just that chance meeting that is like,
it's just opportunity to grow as an artist, add something to the bag of tricks. You know what I mean? It's another thing I can bring to the table. So for me, I found it fun. I found it challenging. You know what I mean? And when I find something challenging and I find something fun that I enjoy doing, I just consistently do it.
right.
And that's pretty much it, man.
Well, it's good that people can hear this and know that they don't have to go to school to learn how to make beats and what have you. Now, what would you suggest somebody just starting out that wants to be a producer? What do you think the basic things that they need? Obviously a computer, but what else?
You mean like tools? Like,
yeah, like obviously a Fruity Loops program, or there's other.
Well, you need a DAW for sure. If you don't have a digital audio workstation, you're dead in the water. And even the cheapest, smallest Akai Mini MPK keyboard will do, but you need feel as well. You know what I mean? I'm big on that, in the sense that I don't like creating music just using the mouse and clicking, you know what I mean? And I need feel. I need the drum pads. I need the keys. You know what I'm saying? And you don't learn if you're clicking and dragging and dropping. You learn when you got the keys in front of you. That's how you learn the key structure, the notes, chord progressions. You learn how to chop breaks and samples on the drum pads. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much elevation there that can happen just by feel and touch. So a DAW is good. You need some decent speakers. Okay, it's very important that you have studio monitors, some speakers. If you can't afford that shit, get some headphones, but don't just buy some fucking Walmart headphones. Get some real headphones, and you should be good to go, man. And now the other thing I could tell you is find a mentor.
Yeah.
Okay, find a mentor. Find somebody willing to teach you, willing to show you some things. You know what I mean?
Right.
They say the game is to be sold, not to be told, right? To a certain extent, I agree with that. But I've taught people things that you otherwise would have had to pay for to learn. just out of the love of the art. I always want the art form to grow and continue and prosper. I want people coming up after me and people coming up after them to keep the art form alive forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So withholding something from somebody who is really working hard, trying to be it, you know, that's sucker shit to me. I don't fuck with that, bro. Find a mentor. They're out there. There's people like me. There's people out there that would consider it an honor to be able to teach you some of what they know. You know what I mean? And with the internet, your mentor, look at what we're doing. Where are you at right now? You in Windsor? You know what I mean? On the other side of the city, we're talking to each other right now. You don't need a mentor that lives down the street. You can find a mentor on the internet anywhere and learn from them just as much as sitting right next to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
well, that's
after getting basic equipment, get a mentor, you know?
Right. And there are tutorial videos and whatnot that are nice segments of learning and whatnot and teaching.
The internet and YouTube's a better teacher than any fucking music college, anything like that could be.
Oh man, everything's
Absolutely.
on there.
Everything's on there. You could learn. You could learn how to do everything I know how to do as a producer in a year, just watching YouTube videos and practicing what they're telling. You know.
Right.
It's a wild world we live in nowadays, man.
That's, you know what, that's a fact, because when it comes to the internet, you've been known to just release stuff in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? You wake up in the morning, all of a sudden, JB, you know, released this, that, and the other thing. All right. Yeah. What was the last video you released?
The last video I released is for the single from the new album, Blood, Guts, and Boom Bap. So the single's called Ask Somebody. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head, bro. I was sitting in the studio and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna film a video for this. And then I just like later in the week, just kind of was like, oh, by the way, here you go. Here's a video. You know what I mean? The single was out. It's on Spotify and all that jazz. But here's a video.
Well, you know what? We're gonna play that right now. We're gonna let people check that one out.
It up, put it on the board so you could bump this shit. Who you fucking with? I bet your mother quit. Suck 100 dicks just to get a motherfucking hit. I know what it's like to be in the struggle, so don't ever speak to me, you're being humble. From beneath the rubble, I had to climb out and did this shit on my own. Now I'm all the way in my fucking bag like a John Doe. They say they wanted more, I'ma deliver that. And when the record finish, I bet that they finna spin it back. They wanted replay value, so I'ma give them that. A lopsided battle with me, this ain't no tit for tat. Skip the rap, I put a blade to where your innards at. Shoulda gave me 3 steps like a Leonard Skinner trap. In this bitch hungry like where my fucking dinner at. I snatch a plate from you like, bitch, you gon' finish that? You know the shit is crack, where your favorite spitters at? I'm digging me a grave and need a body that can fit in that. Listen, Jack, I could really spill them in a minute flat. I'm just trying to give the listener something to grimace at. You ain't gotta like it when I'm spitting that. But if you disrespect and start dissing, then you getting slapped. I ain't the one to pull punches, I'm just kicking facts. I want the smoke, tell me where the spliff is at.
I don't fuck around.
I'm on the one-way, ticket to hell, I'm on the runway. First class, clearing out the spot like some gunplay. Everybody ducking when I let it go. They calling me the devil's own, left them with a severed dome. Your rap though could be your biggest flex, but I drop bars that register more pain on the stinging deck. You got some nerve, homie, I I spit the neurotoxin, put you in a box, then drop it where dirt is soft, and shuffle the dirt back on, and mark the spot with a cross. Then I continue on with life, a vicious process. I get drunk and indulge in ridiculous nonsense. Hijack a fucking Zamboni like I'm Steve Austin. I need a couple hundred minimum for giving a 60. The shit's mean and people still listening. I don't bother getting into politics and all of this. I just like to rap and catch a buzz like I'm swallowing a handful of Klonopin. They wondering what's wrong with him. I'm purposefully staying underground like Osama bin. They know that I'm the king of the wicked shit up north. Challenge that, bludgeon you to death with blunt force. Grimy shit, hardcore, dirty, violent, wild shit. You don't wanna test the fucking lunatics that I am with. Baptized in violence, in the force of an iron fist. Watch that gully boom back, you know the time this shit.
I don't fuck around, round, money. I don't fuck around, round, I don't fuck around, round, money. I don't fuck around,
As a fun fact, I shot that with the same phone I'm talking to you on, in front of a black sheet that I pinned to the ceiling in my studio.
Really. And that's the thing, like, people can do so much with their phones and they're worried about, you know, oh, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. If you got a decent phone, man, the microphone's good enough, the camera's good enough. These things are amazing when it comes to the quality that they produce anymore.
And especially if you know how to edit.
Right, yeah.
What style you're going for. I didn't want it to look perfectly clean, so it worked perfect for how I envisioned the video to go. Because it's just a simple video, right?
Yeah, and it's almost like stop motion, and looking at it, because it's got that old film footage feel.
It's like 8mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Which suits the horrorcore genre to a T.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen. Okay, now behind the camera, because that's another thing you do, because you're so versatile when it comes to your career, man. Now, shooting videos and getting people in the studio, you're dealing with other people's creativity and what they want to see, what they think they want to see. Now, how do you manage that? How do you want to express your creativity while maintaining the integrity of what they want to see have done, right? That question didn't make any sense, but
no, I get what you're saying. So in essence, man, somebody's gonna bring me an idea. You know, some artists like you will come in here well rehearsed. You already got your own beats. All I got to do is put the beat in and record, and maybe give you a pointer on how to say this or say that. But when it really gets into the creative element where I'm custom producing music for people, you know, you have to be patient, and you have to take into consideration that it's not your music. So how are you going to approach it? I approach it as a challenge, and I like the challenge. So I've made pop records for female artists. I've made horrorcore records for horrorcore artists. I've made fucking gangster rap beats for gangster artists. I've made new metal, hip hop, rap, rock fucking beats for rap, rock singers.
well,
You know
bro,
what I mean?
the 519er album had 15 different groups and artists on it, and you produced pretty much every beat on that, right? And none of those artists, none of them, you can line them up and none of them are the same, but they all found a beat. They all found a beat. And pretty much, I think there were 18 tracks, and I think 15 of them are yours.
I know how to separate Jay Reno from the Bunker production. That's the key. You know, I can make any kind of beat, any kind of style, any kind of sound, because I'm a musician. I love music, right? 90% of the shit I've made isn't even for me. It's not my style. It's not what I would do. But I just have fun doing it. You know what I mean? And it's a challenge to bring somebody else's idea to life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you get to approach it and do it completely different from how you would do your own thing. So for me, producing music has been a blessing because it's helped me grow as an artist and as a person immensely more than just being a fucking rapper could do for me, you know?
Well, and I'm sure it keeps you fresh and passionate about the culture and the art form. You know, you're not just pen and paper. You know, you're making beats, you're behind the microphone, you're in front of the camera, you're behind the camera. You know, it makes me wonder, how do you have time to do anything else? Because you're a father, you manage a staff in your real life job. You know, life is real life, right? But you know, in your 9 to 5, you manage the staff, you're a father, you're a husband, and then you got 5 other things that you do in hip hop, man. How do you manage the ambition versus your obligation?
Coffee. No. Honestly, man, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
There you go.
It's just kind of how I look at it, bro. Like I get my, 5 to 6 hours on a good night, and the time in between is just, the thing is everything that I do, you got to understand, everything that I do, I'm passionate about. You know what I mean? So it doesn't affect me in a way where it's like, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm beat, I'm fucking wound down. You know what I mean? The 9 to 5 is probably the toughest one because it's just demanding and very constant. But
and it's not
that's what I got.
I would assume it's not your passion.
Well, no, absolutely not, because I'm a rapper and an artist and a musician. But I'm also a responsible adult, and I like to have an investment portfolio, and I like to have health benefits, and I like to have insurance policies, and I like to have guaranteed money, and anything else that may come from music on the side is always just a bonus to me. You know what I mean? But I never feel like I'm doing too much. I feel like I'm doing just enough. You know what I mean? I'm not the kind of person that could just sit still and do nothing anyway. So you might as well fill up your time with something that you can enjoy and, keeps you productive, keeps you sharp. And that's it, man.
Right. All right. So with that being said, after nearly 25 years in the game, have you ever thought about walking away? Have you ever thought about just saying,
I tried, man. 2 years ago, all right, 2020 and 2021, I didn't make no music. I just produced. And I thought, you know what, man, I gotta kind of reconfigure what I'm doing here, because COVID stopped the world. Stopped concerts, lockdowns. You couldn't have clients in the studio spitting, fucking rapping and spitting all over your microphones, and you know what I mean? Like everything just kind of halted, and I had to figure out a way to keep going. And by that time it was like, well, I'm really heating up with the production and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to step back from rap for a couple years and just call it. I've done enough as a rapper. I've accomplished things that won't ever be accomplished by anybody around me. I've accomplished far more than I ever thought I would. And, let's help some other people. Let's make some beats. Let's focus on that end of the music. It was maybe the middle of this year when I just said, you know what, man, fuck it. Because I got people, you being one of those people, in my ear. I think you still got 1 or 2 in you, bro. I think you can still do it, bro. And I made that Ride Again song, put it out, and the shit did well, and I was like, holy fuck, people are still listening. And that motivated me, and here we are now. I'm back full swing doing everything I was doing before. And I'm having a lot more fun with it now than I did before too, because there's no pressure. It's just as I feel like doing it, I do it, and I enjoy doing it. So,
Right.
but yes, to answer your question, I tried to retire. You can't retire. When it's in your blood, there's just no fully walking away from it. I don't think.
Yeah, no, bro. I swore that I put the pen down, and due to recent circumstances, you'll be seeing me. I know you don't have people back in your studio, but I'll be coming to you for some beats or something, man, because I'm coming back.
Because you can't stop. You can't stop, bro. You think you can stop.
You can
One
call it.
day, bro, you just get that little urge. Like, you know, you're still good at this, right? You can still do this. Nothing's
Well,
stopping you.
Well, that's the thing. I'm interviewing all these rappers like weekly, and I'm researching different underground rappers and artists and new people coming up, and it's just like, I got to do this again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm listening to people spit bars. I'm like, oh, that was good. I can come up with something like that. You know,
You're gaining inspiration because of S.H.I.E.L.D, because of what you're trying to do. It's rejuvenated the idea of getting back on the mic.
I think it kind of correlates with what you said. Like, the lockdown had you stepping away from the stage and everything else, and thinking in your mind, okay, put down the mic and help everybody else. My age is the reason I said, okay, you know what? It's time for me to put down the mic and start helping everybody else. But I realized age is just an excuse. It's not a reason.
There's no such thing. Absolutely, bro.
You know, so it's like, wait a minute, every day I got something to say. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got more knowledge now than I ever had before, more wisdom now than I ever had before. So why would I keep that inside?
It'd be a crime to not use it.
Right.
It'd be a fucking crime to not use it.
My man, I hope he doesn't mind me telling the story, but the dude that got me into rapping back in 1992 in Chicago, I went to college there. He got me into rapping, but unfortunately, recently he ended up with throat cancer. So he had to have his voice box removed in that. So he can never rap again. So I was just asking him, you know, what can I do for you? You know, how can I help? Can I raise money? Can I do anything for you? He's like, bro, just don't stop rapping in that. And I was like, you know what I mean?
So
I got the ugly face on, the ugly tears, and bro, pen got to touch paper again. That's just the way it is.
Absolutely, bro. Because like you said, bro, it's real life, right?
Oh yeah.
It's never gonna go away.
And this is not an escape from it, and this is not faking it. You know, this is stuff that has to be talked about. You know, I released a song. Matter of fact, you did the artwork. I come to you all the time for my artwork. And you know, Tears of Hatred, just another song about domestic abuse. Like, there's got to be more to talk about than drug use and pimping bitches and slapping and pistol whipping and all this other bullshit that gets put on the radio and Molly this and Percocet that, right? Like, there's real life out here that needs to be spoken on. And it was back in the 80s and 90s, they spoke on real life without the misconception of what was reality and who was faking it, right? Like, this was life.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's almost like, you know, no disrespect to wrestling, because wrestling are some of the most fantastic athletes out there, but we all know it's choreographed, right? To a certain degree. You know what I mean? The motherfuckers are really hurting themselves. The motherfuckers are really flying through the air, right?
Oh, yeah, but it's a staged outcome, and you know that.
And that's the thing about radio music. Like, I don't even want to call it hip hop when it comes to the radio, right? When it comes to rap on the radio, and that it's like a predetermined outcome. They only want that one shit. They don't want the reality of what we have to say.
No,
you know?
But they're working for suits. That's an agenda. You know.
Well, that's what I want the
they're
kids
putting out there what they want people to hear, so that they get the live reaction that they're looking for.
Well, yeah.
You know? It's easy. That's the thing. And the people that love this shit, that can't relate to a fucking word they're listening to, is something I never understand. To this, you know, I can't sit and listen to a dude rap about doing the drugs and having the money and fucking driving the, bro, I don't do none of that shit. I don't have that $1 million. I don't I don't drive a fancy ass car. I drive a regular ass car. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I don't do fucking pills and all that shit. I can't relate to you, so I don't give a fuck about what you're saying. The
Right.
trick is even if they're saying some bullshit, which 99% of the shit on the radio is just saying some bullshit, they've mastered making it sound sonically fantastic. And that's all you need to do today.
Now, if you can sign an AI MC,
Mhm.
you know.
I saw that. I saw that. They dropped his ass, but still,
Yeah.
you know, that's an embarrassment to the fucking culture of hip hop.
Well, yeah. And it should be a wake up call to anybody coming up and saying, okay, fuck their money and fuck signing. Like, I got to keep saying that. I don't begrudge anybody for getting the money. Just make sure you know what the paper is you're signing. You know what I mean? Make sure you're getting your value and your worth. And if you're worth that much to a record label, you should be worth 10 times that to yourself. You know, build your team and do it. Yeah, you need the distribution. Now you need the money behind you. And if you get that money behind you, make sure you pay that shit back so they don't own you. Right? Like, people think that they're getting paid for what they've already done in the past. No, you're getting a loan for your potential in the future. Now, they can give you a bunch of money. You can record a bunch of music and they put you on the shelf and you get nothing.
It's called an advance for a reason, brother.
Yeah, right. But too bad too many people don't advance from it.
Nope.
You know?
Exactly.
So, but listen, I got to get another story out of you because I love this story, and it has to do with reality, and it has to do with politics, and it has to do with that woman that had her hydro bills so sky high. All right. Now, not only did you make Billboard as a rapper and a producer, you were headline news across Canada and some of the United States with that track Hydro Bills. What was that experience like?
To be totally honest with you, first and foremost, before I go into it, that was my first experience with broadened fame. Okay. And I didn't like that shit. I wasn't a fan of it. I did not enjoy it. I don't want it. I never want to get that fucking high up again. It wasn't a wonderful experience, to say the least. But with that being said, I wrote a fucking song that contributed to a politician losing their seat and their party losing their status, because I made a song about an issue that every fucking middle class, lower class person in the country is dealing with, especially in Ontario, and people related to. And multi-millions of impressions later, news reports from Vice to the Globe and Mail to the Edmonton Herald to the Windsor Star to CBC, I was on fucking Global, City TV. I was on all the radio stations. That experience wasn't great because they try to turn me into a political puppet. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Liberals fucking hated me because I made a fucking song that ripped a liberal leader down. So they assumed I was a conservative. They assumed I was a plant. The conservatives embraced me and thought I was a conservative because I was speaking out against the fucking liberals.
Right.
But I could turn around to a conservative and go like that just as quick.
Yeah, man.
Vice is the only fucking media that covered the whole story that went to my back catalog and went, oh, this guy don't like the government at all. You know what I mean? Everybody else kind of, you know, the Canadian media, they kind of used it for what they whatever use they could get out of it, which was to put the political pressure. It was mounting. It was all over the news every day how families were fucked up because of this shit. It was in the house where they're yelling at each other, all those fucking idiots yelling back and forth at each other. They're railroading in there. I was just an angry motherfucker that wanted to make a song because I was sick of paying fucking $500, $600, $700 a month.
A month.
Just to heat my home. And you know, we ain't got gas lines, so I don't give a fuck. That has nothing to do with me. You should have put them in. You didn't put them in. There's no rebate program. There's nothing here. All these houses are fitted with outdated heat, and the bill's too high.
Right.
This bitch talking about put on a coat in your house. Bitch, fuck you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was so mad during that whole shit, bro. I would have skinned her ass and wore her as a coat in my house to keep warm. That's how fucking mad about it I was.
No,
I went to
I didn't know.
I went to work the next day. I put the fucking, like I did, like you said, right? I didn't announce it, nothing. I just, here's how I feel today, motherfucker. Here's a song. Put it out. Went to bed, went to work the next day. Got a fucking phone call from CBC. How CBC even got my phone number, I don't know. But they got it. And they called me and asked me to do a radio interview. And I thought, what the fuck, man? Like, what? And then when I went back and looked at the video that I posted on Facebook, it had cleared 100,000 views. And it already had 1,000 comments. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. And then it snowballed, like, just out of control, bro. I had death threats from fucking liberals. I had liberals, the peaceful liberals, the fucking accept everybody liberals wanted to kill me for calling out this bitch for high hydro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just a fucked up situation, bro. And the worst part about it is it was millions of useless impressions. I want you to understand that, okay? Ad clicks, media clicks, television views, song streams, video news report clips, all those numbers added up well into the millions. And it didn't help me sell one fucking album. No.
It's used
Didn't
as a
help me
pawn.
sell a single fucking album. Because I made a song that my fans were feeling because it was me. But the majority of people who listen to that shit, you know how that goes. Oh, I'm not a fan of the hippity hoppity and the rap, but I really like this message. Yeah, fuck you too. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just made a song how I feel, bro. I don't like it got out of control. And I'm glad that it ended the way it did. She lost her seat. Everybody forgot about the song.
Yeah, just like that, man. Trust me, I didn't forget about it, bro. Because
and
that
now
was
we're stuck with that fucking fat gizzard neck fuck Doug Ford instead. And I just don't have the energy to write a song about that fucking idiot. So
no, he won't be around long enough. By the time you get that, well, you could have it written by the morning. But
yeah, I could,
you know.
but I just don't even want to waste the energy because it's.
Well, you just spoke on an experience that, and you didn't write the song, record the song, or release the song to get any kind of reaction other than to get your off your chest.
That's why I feel like it didn't go well for me. Because I got a reaction so much bigger than I could have even imagined. When I was really just trying to make a song for some people to listen to, I didn't expect it to do what it did. Yeah, so that going viral shit is crazy. It's an absolute roller coaster thing to be a part of, man. And I don't fucking care to ever do it again, to be totally honest with you.
Well, you know, I gotta let people see that video anyway, so let
that play somewhere, bro.
All right. Well, listen, I was uploading your music to the radio station because S.H.I.E.L.D. Hip Hop is an online radio station now, and it's got the apps through Live 365 online radio, so you get the apps for your Android and your iPhones and whatnot. So I was uploading your music today, and I came across one of the ones I really enjoyed from the past. It was Sick in the Mouth. It was you, Rit Theme, and Busy Bone. Now, how did you get Busy Bone on the track?
A friend.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Just like that.
A friend and a handful of money.
Oh, okay.
Just like that, bro. I've got friends in this industry that have those kind of connections with those kind of artists, and sometimes you just say fuck it, bro, and you just like, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. It didn't yield a crazy return or anything like that for me, but I got to do a song with fucking Busy Bone. That's all I cared about, bro.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? You set a goal and you accomplished it.
And then I hit up Rit Theme to be a part of that, because Rit Theme, he know them on a personal level to a certain extent. Okay, so it was only right. I'm like, yo, I got this song with Busy. It need a Rit Theme verse on. You know what I mean? Later on down the line, the Real Wolf Records team got a hold of it and remixed it and yada yada. But the original version is the one I prefer. It's the one I like the most. Not big on the dude that the label put on the remix with us, but yeah, it's just a cool experience, and it's still to this day it's a fucking banger, isn't it?
No, I know, bro. I just put it on there today, and I was like, no, we got to talk about this one tonight. But all right, so we talked about the past. Now, what's coming up? What's going on? What's new? What can we expect?
So much, bro. That's the funny thing about this, right? It was like, I'm doing it for fun and at my leisure. Then I start having too much fun, right? So,
no leisure.
So December 1st, Blood, Guts, and Boom Bap, new LP, 12 tracks, start to finish. Dirty, old, dusty breakbeat boom bap with a grimy touch to it.
Okay.
I appeared on an album from Buckshot, just came out. It was called Helter Skelter, The Accomplices. I'm on a song on there produced by Michael Seven Summers. He's a huge producer. Such a dope experience to be a part of that record. I've yielded some pretty good feedback and response from it. Me and Wicked Truth just dropped a track 7 days ago called As Above, So Below. I produced that. It's like a rock rap kind of joint, but it's deep. And we cracked, we're over 2K streams in 7 days, man. So that feels good. That's a nice number. I'm proud of the dude for that shit. We're fucking recording this on a Sunday. So tomorrow would be the Monday. I don't know when it's gonna come out, but yeah. So I got a song called Knife Culture coming out with my homie James Joyce, the Squatch. The dude's a fucking beast with it, and is produced by Johnny Slash, and that's a grimy ass song, man. I love that shit. And my album, like I said, December 1st, everywhere. It's available right now if you want to buy a physical copy. And you get the album up front early. Otherwise, you can wait for streaming December 1st. It's going to hit Spotify, Apple, all that good shit, wherever you may listen to music. And I just got a few more collabs in the works. I got a collab with the homie Swan coming up. I got another collab with my homeboy Stalks Boogie. I just did a beat for a feature with my homie from Australia. He goes by Fugitive One. And some heavy production that I did for local artist Big Papa Nut, his new album that he just announced. I produced a song that he has with Too Short and another song that he has with Lil Wayne. I produced both of those. I don't know how he pulled those features off or what he did, but to have the opportunity to make a beat for somebody like Too Short, somebody like Lil Wayne, crazy.
Well, no doubt. And I remember when he first started rapping, it was only a few years ago, because he wanted to get on the 519er album, and I had to reject him just because I told him it just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready yet. But it's good to know that he has some perseverance and he stuck with it. Now he's superseded anything that I expected of him.
Absolutely.
And I'm very proud of him. I actually reached out to him and talked to him a little bit, asking if he wanted to do an interview, and he's down for it. So I'm anxious.
He's a good artist, man. He's very dedicated. He's got a lot of passion for the shit, right?
Yeah.
And he takes himself serious. He's not scared to put some dough behind what he's about to do. So I respect the man for making the shit happen. And he's got some pretty hard fucking music coming up, man. I've gotten a chance to listen to some of the stuff I produced for him, and it's sounding pretty fucking hard, bro. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to that. I also got a project coming up that I'm not allowed to talk about, that I produced for a multi-platinum recording artist from Detroit and some of his boys. And that's all I'm gonna say, because I can't say more.
That's fine by me.
But keep your eyes open for that. If you follow me on any social media, I promise I'm gonna share the hell out of it when it finally comes out. And then I got a bunch of shit with Dr. Giggles from Mass. Dr. Giggles is a crazy horrorcore rapper. He's like full fucking 100% into it, horrorcore, you know, the whole nine, the gimmick, the sound, the rhymes, the just craziness. I produced 2 records for him consecutively and a third, and we're about to start working on another one. So
shit. All right, then.
I got a lot going on, brother. And I'm loving every second of it, bro. And not to mention knocking out artwork left, right, center. I just did one for you today. So
yeah, man. And
I'm staying with it, man.
You know more. I came in one hand and I put out the other. I posted it as soon as I got it from you. And you know I'm going to come back for more. And I was just going to say, I still have another song. You and I haven't got a collaboration done yet. And but I don't know if we ever will. But I do have a song that I got to get done, and I'll probably come to you for some advice. It's on one of your beats. The track is called "Finish 'Em." That's what you labeled the track, but I'm calling it "Hanging with Lunatics," and that it's actually supposed to be the sequel to "Hide the Body." So you know the "Hide the Body" video that I just did in January.
Yeah, I'm put a verse on that song, bro.
I'll
put a verse on that song, bro.
Listen, bro, you just said it live on the internet.
I'm put a verse on that song, bro. See, if you're not retiring and walking away, you really gonna do it? Let's fucking do it, bro.
Hey, I put my word on it. I put my word on it to a dude that I got mad respect for, mad love for. I put my word on it, so I'm coming back to the studio, man. I'll give it everything I got, 100%.
Let's do it then, bro. I'll put a verse on that song for sure. I got that song. I'm finished on my computer, bro. Yeah, I'm ready to put a verse on that.
All right, bro. Man. I gotta start running and get my lungs back.
I don't do none of that shit neither, brother.
Oh man, yeah. I start listening to some of my old shit, and I start rapping along with it. I'm like, how did I ever do that on stage, man?
Right.
But it's
a lot harder than it looks.
Oh man. Yeah, and you know what? We're just talking right now, but that's something I don't think people really take into consideration. Not only the stage part of it, but going into the studio. They write their lines, they write their lyrics. And there's so many people that they send me their music and I'm nobody. I'm just a guy that loves hip hop. I've been born and raised around it for 50 years. You know what I mean? It seems to me that too often people write their lyrics and go run right to the studio and say, okay, you know what I mean? It's like, you should have took a breath there. You could have extended that. You could have chopped that up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and like you say, like you get into the studio and I can appreciate your passion and your patience. I mean, and you mentioned that earlier, being patient because it's not your stuff. But also you can be patient because you're earning money off of every hour that somebody's fucking around on that mic.
Absolutely.
And I've been frustrated and told you, like, I've been like, no, fuck it, I'm walking away because I'm not going to waste your time me stumbling over a line. But then you've been calm enough to say, okay, listen, hey, blow that shit out and let's do it again. Blow that shit out because you knew I was prepared. All right. But I think a lot of times these cats go in there not prepared for the microphone, then get on stage. Now the adrenaline gets you. Stop. You better be prepared.
Guys be writing verses in quiet.
Yeah.
I wonder why the breath control don't match up when they speak it out from here. And then when they get on stage and speak it out from even lower, why the fuck they can't get through it? Oh, I know. I've seen it a million times, brother. It's shit. You had a good saying for that. I forget what the fuck you said though.
I said practice is free, studio time is not.
Ah, right. So practice is free.
Yeah.
Y'all need to practice. Unless you have your own spot and you do your own shit, then write your shit and record it that fucking second.
Yeah.
Because go back to it at any time. But when you're paying some guy and you're sitting in his studio rewriting your fucking verse and every minute is $1, you might want to rethink that strategy out, bro, because that's meant for artists with hundreds of thousands of dollars in advancement fees that can rent out a $2,000 a day studio for fucking 2 months. And then they can take time and do whatever the fuck they want because they got 2 fucking months. You guys out here buying 4-hour blocks of time, spending 2 hours of it writing, walking out the studio with one half finished song. It's just not, practice is free. Practice the fuck out of your shit before you go into a professionally paid environment to record it. Absolutely.
And I think
practice that shit double time before you take it on a fucking stage. Please. For the fucking sake of the fans. You know?
And I think the one edit I'd put to that is even if you have your own recording, record it that minute, write it, record it. But listen to it. Practice it.
Listen over and over again. Absolutely.
Because you personally, like I'll record something. I can sit here with my little microphone and my computer right now and record something, and then put that on a stick and go sit in my truck and ride around listening to it and adapt it in my head. So the next time I record, it's not even going to sound the same. It's going to be tight. I'm going to have my gaps. I'm going to have my spacing. I'm going to have my breaths, and I'm going to have it memorized so that I'm not. I think I might have
the paper in the microphone like a motherfucker.
I think I was one of the last people to ever have a book and a piece of paper at your studio. And you're like, dude, like, I don't even see people with pad and paper no more. Everybody got their phone and what have you. But I like coming in knowing that shit.
I just say it because I didn't have the clipboard or the paper stand at the time. Yeah. So you motherfuckers holding your papers, you'd be like getting into your shit and shaking the paper behind the mic, and it's like, nah, you fucked the whole take. Now it just sounds like somebody crumbling up some fucking paper on the mic. That's why I was giving you shit for that.
No, I get it. But again, that just comes to being prepared and the quality, because now you're not just a rapper anymore. You're a brand, all right? Unless you're just doing this as a hobby and just for friends and to show off to some skirt. Oh, I got to rap. I rap. You know what I mean? If you want to show your little girlfriend that you're a rapper, then fine. Waste as much time and money as you want. All right.
Absolutely.
But if you've got a brand, if you're trying to promote a brand, you better come correct all the time.
All the time. And everything you do got to be measured out, including going into the fucking studio. You need to know your output versus your budget, and you got to fucking make it happen, bro. You can't do. Oh, absolutely, man. That's probably the best advice you can give to any up-and-coming artist ever. If you're paying for studio time, practice is free, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Take your time to practice.
If you get a 4-hour block, you should be able to walk out of there with 3 songs. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's my opinion because I've done it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to get 3 songs recorded. The vocals, I'm not talking about mixed mastered and broke down.
No, you're just doing vocal takes anyways, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So all that other stuff is that's the matrix, and that's up to you guys. You know what I mean? Behind the boards.
Yep.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. Listen, I appreciate your time. I know it's getting late in the evening. And yeah, man, we're going to have to touch base again after the December 1st release, just to, get an update on how things are going just before Christmas. Maybe I want to touch base with a lot of people that I've done interviews with and just see what they expect to do next year.
I'm down, bro. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to do this. I love the brand. I follow it. I see all the stories, all the posts. I seen the radio. I was on there listening to it the other day when you sent me that link.
Right.
And I love what you're doing, bro. To see the passion for hip hop reinvigorated and back to life in you is
Yeah.
a wonderful sight, man, because somebody like me, I may have climbed higher up the fucking mountain, but I respect what laid the groundwork for me, you know, to be able to do things like that. And that's artists like you. You got some age on me. You got some time on me. You were doing this shit before me. You know what I mean? So I pay homage to that, and I appreciate that, bro. And I appreciate what you're doing right now. My S.H.I.E.L.D. hoodie is in the fucking laundry, bro, or I'd be wearing it right now. But I rock that motherfucker all the time, brother. I'm repping for good. So whenever you want to do whatever, just hit me up, man.
No, I know you've been repping it, man. You sent me some pictures from Toronto and different places sporting that shit. So I appreciate that, man. And I thank you again for everything that you do for the community. And I'd like to say to everybody, man, if you don't know, now you know. Jay Reno, baby. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Thank you very much.
Have a good night, brother. Thanks for having me, man.
I'm going to holler at you soon.
All right, bro.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Mr. Speaker, my question is for the Premier. Michelle, a gentleman in Ottawa Vanier, called the Liberal campaign headquarters just the other day. Like most people, he was fed up with his hydro rates. Michelle asked the Liberal campaign about his hydro bill, and can you imagine what he was told? Someone in that office told him to lower his thermostat and wear a coat. Mr. Speaker, is that the Liberals' new solution to skyrocketing hydro rates? Should everyone simply have to turn down the thermostat and wear a coat inside in winter? Are they that out of touch?
Dear Miss Premier, why you so out of touch? Your policies are destroying and taking everything from us. My hydro bill is running high as my rent. So high that last year it literally sunk me in debt. Now they're coming to collect and you taxing my check. The hydro bill comes in and they snatching all the rest. Just scum. You don't care about the people you govern. You sit comfortable while most people here struggle. You corrupt. You don't know what it's like to decide whether to give food for your family or keep on the lights. You're killing us. -20, I can't afford the heat. Wearing layers covered up with my blankets and the sheets just to keep warm. Max the credit card to survive so I could keep up with your hydro. Now tell me why I'm in debt now and why they calling me because of it. Rates keep climbing and we can see that you loving it. Pockets stay lined at the expense of the people. When I look into your eyes, I see extensive evil. There's people out here going under every day while you smiling for the cameras and you brush it all away like it doesn't matter. Well, it matters to me and every other family who has become a casualty. They losing everything, businesses closing up shop cause their profits get chopped by your rates and more jobs would disintegrate. You're lucky they ain't bailed yet. How you haven't come to terms with the fact that you failed yet? 2016, over $7,000. How can that be fair for lights, heat, and water where I live? There's no gas lines, it ain't an option. The baseboard heaters kicking on is a problem. I can't pay the debt and I ain't eating right, but then we gets their money every month. I got a question for you. How do you sleep at night?
Mr. Speaker, let me share with you to the Premier another hydro horror story. Adrian in Smith Falls. Adrian has autism and is on ODSP. She shares the cost of living with her mother, a pensioner. They live in a small wartime house and are energy-wise as they can be. But their hydro bill is almost the same as their mortgage payment. They are juggling other bills, but they can't make ends meet. Adrian says they can't afford to live, and that's not hyperbole. That's the legacy of this Premier because of the unmitigated failure of her hydro policies. So my question, Mr. Speaker, to the Premier, does she really want energy poverty to be her legacy for Ontario?